Welcome everyone to College Football Time with Avery Miguel. Week 7 previews. Avery, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Week 7, we're now kind of over the hump for college football season, and there are some great games that some teams need to be prepared for and teams not squander.
We're gonna kick things off with your team. Number 8 Alabama versus number 14 Missouri. We have a lot of great games this weekend, Avery, and this is one of them that intrigues me. The spread says 3, so I do see them as a tight game as well. Missouri is coming into this game, even though, well, I will say that Missouri has an elite rushing attack so far from what I'm seeing so far this season. Alabama, however, lately they've been on fire. So I'm really intrigued about this game. I have Alabama winning 30 to 26 in this game.
I think that's a very reasonable score for both teams. Missouri for the past couple of years has been that spoiler team that if you go to play Missouri or Missouri's playing you, they're giving you a tough time. So um, even though I have the Alabama background, I think Alabama's win at Georgia has catapulted them with that confidence they needed. I think beginning the season with the loss to Florida State kind of gave them a bit of an identity crisis, if you will. So they know with the teams they're playing, they know the schedule they have. They need to be prepared for any team because, and we've said it for years now, any given Saturday, any team can beat you. So going to Missouri, they need to be prepared for that crowd. They need to be prepared for that rushing attack. And that those three points, I agree because if you are not careful, next thing you're down by 10 and you're scrounging for every little point you have. So, wearing the Ravenclaw sweater, I think a lot of teams this weekend need a little magic, even Alabama. So, I don't think the score is going to be that high, but I think it's still going to be enough for Alabama can squeak out this win, but I think it's going to be closer than the 3 points. So I'm going to go with Alabama 24, Missouri 22.
Okay, not bad, not bad. Ty Simpson, I love what I'm seeing from him so far this year. He's really playing like a legit Heisman Trophy candidate this year. So, I definitely have some expectations from him. I'm also looking at Ahmad Hardy as well in this game. So, I have a good feeling about this game. I don't see it as a lopsided whatsoever.
No, and it's a noon game. I think this is part of that noon game
Yep, it's
block,
noon. It's noon.
where you're like, okay, it's still two ranked teams, you know, they're kind of close in the ranking, but like we said, Alabama has been catapulted from that Georgia win. Missouri likes to play spoiler, and being ranked 14, they're like, hey, don't don't underestimate us, because, certain teams kind of want to do that. But yeah, starting the day off at 12 for both those teams, I think this could be a great game that you want to pay attention to.
Red River, Red River, Red River, Oklahoma versus Texas. Uh, what saddens me about this one is that I wish I could get a 100% John Mateer in this game.
Mm.
That would intrigue me so much more to see John Mateer go up against Arch Manning. This, I mean, regardless, like I'm excited for it, but it's just not the same without John Mateer. The offense is not the same without him. So, but I do think that for Arch Manning, this is a redemption game for him. So this game, I want to answer the bell. So I'm gonna go with Texas on this one. 23-20 field goal.
E- I don't usually Red River Rivalry games aren't that low scoring. And I think especially with Texas coming off their loss to Florida, they want to prove they have that high-powered offense. And the one thing that I love about the Red River rivalry is I'm like when you have a rivalry that's sponsored by Allstate, that always cracked me up. I'm like, this is a rivalry pretty much every year, and at some point it got sponsored. So I think both teams and I agree with you. You have Oklahoma being the ranked team. This game could have been totally different if both teams were like in the top 10 ranked. But where Texas is now, just like I said with Alabama beating Georgia, this is Texas's statement game. You know, so they need to prove that offense is legit. So playing at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, a classic, venue. Texas needs to come out swinging. They need to not let off the gas. If Arch Manning wants to prove he is the quarterback that Texas signed up for, that Texas needs, that the Longhorns need, that, he can shut those doubters, up. This is the game to do it. This is the game to do it. I like I said, I don't think that game is going to be that low scoring. I think as much as I like defensive games, I don't think this game is going to be a defensive game. I think this game is going to be back and forth, and they're just going to keep trading touchdown or field goal. But if it does turn into a defensive matchup, I think Texas's defense wants to try and shut that Oklahoma offense down. But I'm gonna interesting as it is, and I said it, I was like, if Texas got upset, don't be ashamed if Florida did it. So in this case, I'm Texas has to win this game. They have to. Even though it's the yearly rivalry, Texas has to win this game. So I'm gonna go with Texas on this one for the upset. But I'm gonna say they're gonna pull away a little bit. So I'm gonna go Texas 30, Oklahoma 20.
They have to win. They have to. It's a must. That game is at 3:30. I'm the next up, and this one is a 12 p.m. game. Ohio State versus Illinois. This is it's a bad matchup for Illinois because they do have a secondary that is not 100% healthy. Ohio State, they're arguably the best defensive team in the country. They're faster. I feel like they've gotten faster. They've gotten better compared to last year. I have Ohio State winning this one 30-10.
You know what? I'm gonna agree with you on that one. As much if you are an Illini fan, you had high hopes for your team anyway. And then you got dunked on with 63 points from Indiana a couple weeks ago. So Ohio State visiting you doesn't give you the best hope, but you're still kind of hoping they put up a fight. Um, I agree with you on this one. Ohio State is just they're I don't want to use the word perfect, but everything is just working for them right now. Everything is working for Ohio State right now, from their offense, from their defense, their special teams. Everything is just working for them right now. So if Illinois wants to stay competitive, they have to keep the game close. But I'm gonna say, and I completely agree with you on the score, I think they're gonna keep the game close for the first half. Like this game could in the first half could end with like a 10-10 tie, and then all of a sudden Ohio State comes out in the second half and they just tears it up. So, um, if it wasn't for that Indiana loss, I would have had this game a bit closer. But knowing that they gave up 63 points, I can't. And Ohio State being Ohio State, I can't do it either. So I'm going to go with Illinois 35. I'm sorry. I'm going to go Ohio State 35. Ohio State's got this game in the bag, I think. Ohio State 35, Illinois 17.
Speaking of Indiana, another big game. Indiana versus Oregon. Both teams are 5-0. This game is at 3:30. This one, I like both teams. Even though I feel that Oregon is better, and I do like Kurt Signetti. He's one of my favorite current coaches right now in college football. Fernando Mendoza, I am pleased with what he's doing with Indiana. I am more pleased what he's doing with Indiana than Curtis Roy did with Indiana. Even though Curtis Roy did got hurt before all of that, but overall, I like Fernando Mendoza as a quarterback position for Indiana compared to Curtis. I see this as a tight game, high scoring game. I have Oregon winning 38-34.
I agree with you. I think it's going to be a tight game too. In fact, we're gonna do our like favorite thing and say like you get an overtime game. I see this game going to overtime. I see this game being back and forth, kept close. Indiana wants to prove that they are in the playoff talk. We have some teams that are ranked that are not in the playoff conversation. Illinois was part of that conversation until they got dropped 63 points. You
Massive
have
beatdown.
Indiana, yeah, you have Indiana here just moseying it along. Like I said, really great college basketball team. Really great college basketball team. We talk about them every March. That's their history. That's the backbone of Indiana. But now they're coming into their football game, and it's really, really great to see. I see this game just going back and forth. And this is a game that's playing at 3:30 that, okay, here you have Red River Rivalry. Here you have two top 10 teams playing as well. So it's now you're going back and forth. And with Indiana and Oregon, and they're playing at Oregon, Oregon, another kind of tough place to play, this game is just going to go back and forth. And I agree. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I think it's going to be a high scoring game to the point that it's going to go overtime. And I'm gonna go with Oregon on this one, but I'm gonna go with Oregon on the fact like they squeaked by with Penn State. So I'm gonna go with Oregon, but I'm gonna say they're gonna win 45-43. I see this game getting out of control.
Oof.
I see this game getting out of control. I see this game staying close for the first half and then they just start lighting it up. I think their defenses are going to get worked hard, but they're just not going to be able to keep up with each other. And next thing you know, like I said, overtime game and Oregon pulls it out. I do see this game getting high scored, but Oregon squeaking it out. 45-43.
Interesting. 80 plus points. Interesting.
Yes.
I like that. I like that. Now we're going to the night games. Georgia versus Auburn. The Bulldogs, they're 3.5 favorites. The Tigers, they're 77th in points per game in the FBS rankings. Georgia, they have won 11 of their last 12 matchups. Georgia needs to be careful because their secondary can be vulnerable at times. So if you're Auburn, you might want to test that out. The Bulldogs, they also need to keep an eye on Cam Coleman because he can break out in this game. He's one of Auburn's top receivers. So this might be the game where Auburn might target Cam Coleman multiple times. So the Bulldogs need to be ready for that. But regardless, I'm gonna go with Georgia on this one. It's hard to bet against Georgia. I have them winning this game 31-27.
No, I agree with you on that one. I think that's another game that's going to be back and forth and be a bit high scoring. Georgia needs this game. Like I said, a lot of teams this weekend need a little bit of magic for them. Even Auburn. Even Auburn, they're playing at home. They'll take any bit of magic they can. So to stay close playing Georgia, even taking a lead a couple of times, but it's possible they could run out of gas. And even though you have a favorite receiver, once a team figures it out, then it's kind of lights out. So I I want to see Auburn do very well in a way that they don't get run over. We've seen it in college football, enough teams just they start off strong and the next thing you know they lost by 30 points. So I agree with you on this one. I think this is gonna be the game's gonna get over under about 60. I see Georgia winning. You know what? I'm gonna give this another overtime. I'm gonna give this another overtime. I think Auburn's at the point where they'll just take anything and they're gonna stay in it. So I'm gonna go Georgia. I'm gonna go overtime. I'm gonna go Georgia 35, Auburn 32.
And last but not least, and this one, another one that intrigues me, night game, Michigan versus USC. Michigan versus USC. The game will be at NBC. Both teams are 4-1. From a quarterback standpoint, I really like USC. I think they have the upper hand from a quarterback position. Jaden Mayara, he has thrown for 1,587 yards, 11 touchdowns, just one interception. He's a junior. Both teams have some talented linebackers, cornerbacks as well. So this is a fascinating matchup. Now the question is, can USC slow down Michigan's run game because Michigan has a very good strong game, run game. So, oof. I'll say Michigan. Michigan 29, USC 26.
I like that close score. I like that close score. This matchup kind of reminds me of like the early mid 2000s
Ooh.
USC. They're kind of they're
Ooh.
they're they're kind of under the radar when Pete Carroll was there. They're kind of under the radar right now. Just like you say, they have identical scores, but Michigan's ranked. So also they're playing at the Coliseum. They're playing at the Coliseum. I mean, probably the most iconic venue ever to rival even Michigan's house. Michigan can have like 120,000 people on any given Saturday. Oh no, let's play at the Coliseum 150. So I see both teams bringing everything. I think the Trojans want to prove that they're back in it. Their program has kind of faltered a bit in the past few years. And I think they want to bring that intensity back. And I think no better team than kind of an old rival, if you will, with the Michigan Wolverines. I think this game is going to be close as well. I don't think it's going to get high scoring out of control, but I think their defenses are going to make some really good stops when needed. And I'm gonna give this game a close score as well. I'm gonna go. I have Michigan winning this. I'm gonna have Michigan winning this. They need this win, along with probably any other upsets that are, the potential to happen as well. So I'm gonna go Michigan 28, USC 24.
All right, well, guys, that does it for our week 7 previews. Like I said, there are so many intriguing games as we just broke down.
And and
So
and
go ahead,
yeah,
Avery.
yeah. And let's do a couple honorable mentions because there's a night game at 10:15. Your second favorite team, Arizona State, is playing Utah.
Oh,
I find that to be an honorable mention because hey, Arizona State Sun Devils, if you want to keep moving up, what better team than Utah? Because Utah needs that win too to be back in the conversation. But yeah, that's a 10:15 honorable mention. Another 8 o'clock honorable mention, BYU Arizona. BYU coming off some really impressive wins as well, but Arizona wants to be back in that conversation. For the past couple years, Arizona State, Arizona, they've been in the football conversation, so those are some honorable mentions that may want to keep, you know, on the score front this weekend as well. But yeah, we talked about some great games and we got to mention some honorable ones as well.
and Arizona State, they'll be tested back to back because they have Utah this Saturday and then next Saturday against Texas Tech, which I told you before I had that marked down my calendar. So, oh boy, I'm looking forward to it. It's
College
gonna be
football
fun.
weekends are the best.
Yep.
College football weekends are the best because it's almost like, okay, you mark it on your calendar, then you realize, oh, there's this other game too, and then you look, oh, wait a minute, I missed this one. But yes, a lot of intriguing matchups, couple of honorable mentions, but we handled the games that I think fans, our fans, any college football fan is going to pay attention to this weekend because a lot of teams this weekend need a little bit of magic.
Indeed. But yep, that does it for week 7 previews here on College Football Time with Avery Miguel. Guys, enjoy this Saturday's college football games, and we'll be seeing you guys on Monday as we give our recaps, reactions from this weekend. So happy Thursday, everyone. Have a great weekend in advance, and may God bless each and every one of you. Avery, let's do it. Let's have fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely. College football, the best time of the year.